Hello guys. How are you doing in the various parts of the world? Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is your nurse Fiona, registered nurse from Cameroon, working and practicing in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. If you are new to this channel, the aim of this channel is to inform you, enlighten you about nursing opportunities and nursing licensure procedures in the United Arab Emirates, and also to bring you information about nursing opportunities in other parts of the world for those who might not consider coming to United Arab Emirates. So you might want to consider subscribing to our YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and hit the notification bell so that you'll be informed whenever we post a new video. And also, I would like you to know that we have a Fiona Care consultancy that is charged at assisting you with your licensure process, assisting you preparing for your exams, your Dubai Health Authority, MOH, or Department of Health exams here in the United Arab Emirates, in order for you to be able to secure your license, which is your passport to getting a good nursing job in the United Arab Emirates. The aim of today's video, I realized that I haven't talked about what nursing in Cameroon is like and what nursing in Dubai is like so far. I've been here for more than 1 year, so I can better compare, give that comparison, and not really comparison, but just to give you an idea of what it looks like. I don't want to compare, I'll just give you an idea of what it looks like working as a nurse in Cameroon and working as a nurse in the United Arab Emirates. So stay tuned to the end of this video. You might catch one or two things that will be very important for you. There are so many differences in nursing practice in Cameroon compared to nursing practice here in Dubai. Cameroon is my home country, don't get me wrong, home is home. If I have the opportunity to get a better something back home and still be very comfortable, of course I'll be home and not be far away from home. But I'm enjoying working as a nurse here in Dubai as well, because you learn to love where you are because you have made a decision to make the move. So you learn to love where you are. So I'm going to talk about various aspects of nursing practice in Cameroon and in Dubai. We'll begin with licensure process. In Cameroon, it's not complicated. Once you go to nursing school, you get your diploma or your degree. Afterwards, you can search for a job directly. There are very few hospitals or clinics that will require you to get a license from the nursing council in Cameroon for you to practice. Very few. And I think this is one of the reasons why many nurses do not get the license. Personally, I got my degree in 2015 and only got a license in 2019 because I was planning to travel out of the country. So most nurses get their nursing licenses back home in Cameroon because they want to travel out of the country. But it's very important to get your nursing license. Actually, it's really important to get your nursing license immediately upon graduation because it gives you a kind of backing. Here in Dubai, if you do not have a nursing license, you cannot practice as a nurse. The nursing licenses vary with respect to the different emirates in the United Arab Emirates. In Cameroon, it's one, it's general for all the 10 provinces in Cameroon. Here in Dubai, here in UAE, sorry, I keep calling Dubai because I'm working in Dubai. Here in UAE, you need to have either the Department of Health license for Abu Dhabi, the Ministry of Health license for the other 5 Emirates, or the Dubai Health Authority license for Dubai in order to be able to practice as a nurse. And this brings us down to the second comparison. Here, you can work as a registered nurse or a nurse assistant or a caregiver. And these three, for the caregiver, you don't need any license. But for the nurse assistant and the registered nurse, you must have a license specific for the registered nurse and the nurse assistant. And your roles are clear-cut. Your roles are different. You do not do the same things. Back home, this is one thing I really like about back home, because as a nurse assistant, even with a diploma in nursing or a degree in nursing, you all have I think similar roles, like you do everything, even what the caregiver does, we do everything back home. And I think this is what gives us the boost to be able to perfect our nursing skills back home before we come here. Here we are limited in so many ways. If you don't have a registered nursing license, you cannot do some certain procedures. You cannot cannulate, you cannot draw blood, you cannot screen the patient and all the likes. It's really limited. But back home, you can do everything. You do not have any limitations at all. And another thing also is that there are so many things that registered nurses are not allowed to do here. For instance, in Cameroon, nurses are allowed to do circumcisions. They're allowed to do cyst incisions, abscess incisions, to do suturing, and to do suturing and to remove sutures. Here, I was really surprised. All of these things, no, is the doctor's role. You only assist the doctor to do these things. You assist the doctor to do suturing, you only assist the doctor to do cyst removal and everything, and you assist the doctor to do the sutures, and you are like, it's kind of a bit boring because you're used to doing these things back home, especially if you see the doctor struggling with it and it's something you are like used to doing it within 5 minutes back home. But here, everything is regulated. It's for the medical doctors. You're limited in your own nursing roles only. The next contrast I'll talk about is basic amenities, precisely water and light. In Cameroon, we have electricity issues at times. During operation, during surgeries, the lights go off, the generator has no petrol, or the light goes off and there's no standby generator, and it's really, really horrible. Also, at times, we have water shortages. Water doesn't flow in this part of the hospital, or it's not flowing in this way. But here, these things are always constant. Since I've been here, water or light has never ceased. So you have these things at your disposal in order to be able to ensure proper hand hygiene and also proper patient care. The next thing I want to talk about is checks with respect to inspection. The Ministry of Health in Cameroon, Ministry of Public Health, regulates nursing practice or regulates healthcare practice in Cameroon. And the Ministry of Health is in charge of setting the different demarcations with respect to practices and with respect to professionalism. So it's just one body that is responsible for taking care of the health-related issues in Cameroon. In the United Arab Emirates, we have 3 bodies, like I mentioned earlier: Department of Health for Abu Dhabi, Department of Health Authority, Dubai Health Authority in Dubai, and Ministry of Health for Sharjah, Fujairah, Basakaima, Al Quwain, and Ashman. So these bodies are responsible for carrying out constant checks in hospitals and clinics within their areas. For instance, here in Dubai, the Dubai Health Authority will just send a representative to your hospital impromptu. You have no idea. For instance, yesterday we were in the hospital when working, and all of a sudden, a Dubai Health Authority representative walked in and was doing his checks. They check everything. They check the bins. You need to be able to segregate dirt. You need to have the yellow bin, the black bin. They check everything to make sure everything is in order. And if you have gloves in the black bin, meanwhile it's supposed to be in the yellow bin, you have a fine, heavy fine to pay. So people are on their toes all the time. They try to make sure they have all the necessary requirements for the clinic, and they also make sure the nurses, if you have nurses, they have the Dubai Health Authority licenses to be able to practice as nurses. They check all of these things. In Cameroon, the Ministry of Public Health do checks, yes, but it's not that rigorous. The checks are there, but it's not very rigorous because the necessities actually are not really in place, so the checks cannot really be as effective as it should be. The next thing I want us to talk about is mode of payment for health services. Back home in Cameroon, most often we have cash payment. We pay by cash. There are few organizations that provide health insurance for their employers. that take care of their employers' health issues, that take care of their employers' health expenditures through insurance. Here in Dubai, we have more of insurance than cash payments. So insurance is more popular here. One disadvantage of this insurance is that when the patient comes and you have to do the requirements, the doctor places orders for labs or echographies or ultrasounds, we need to seek approval from the insurance company before we carry this out. This usually delays care a little compared to if the patient is cash paid, the patient will just pay with a snap of the fingers immediately. I think the reason why this is the insurance scheme is very popular here is because the healthcare services here is really expensive. It's quite expensive when I compare to what we pay back home and what we pay here. It's really expensive, and I think it's worth it because of the standards of care that is here, the standards of care that is provided here. Each hospital or each structure makes sure they have the basics to be able to run on, otherwise they will be fired by the Dubai Health Authority. Another thing with this insurance is that you need to follow up for insurance approvals for it to be constantly updated, so that you'll be able to go back, call the patient back and inform the patient to come for the blood test if the insurance did not approve their test right away. So these are some downsides of the insurance scheme here, but most often the insurance gets approved and the patient is paying just a small percentage of the insurance. I think I enjoyed this insurance scheme stuff when I was in school back in Cameroon. I was in secondary school. We used to have BEFA. So the BEFA used to take care of our healthcare needs, and we pay just about 10% or 20%, I'm not so sure, back home in Cameroon. So it's almost similar here. Here the insurance takes care of maybe all or 80%, and you pay just a small portion depending on how your insurance scheme is. The next thing is mode of data entry. In Cameroon, we still do our paperwork thing. We get the patient's file, get the patient's hospital book. You see, one mama will come with 4 hospital books that are full, and you need to start checking and going through to see why the mama was in the hospital 2 weeks ago, why they were in the hospital 5 years ago, what medications they took, and everything. Everything is paper file system, and you have a very big room where all the files are kept. If you want to check something about the patient, you go and start checking one at a time. Here it's completely different. They have the electronic medical record system, whereby you just need the patient's medical records number, and once you get the patient's medical records number, if the patient has been to that facility severally, everything concerning that patient is in the system. All the blood tests they did, the results, all the doctors they saw, the doctor's medical reports, and everything concerning the patient. If the patient is new, a new medical records number is created. Also, you can access the patient's file through a phone number. There's a registered phone number for the patient. So if you have the patient's phone number, you can be able to access the patient's file. Moreover, doctors order tests. Once they order tests in this electronic medical systems, the lab gets notified, the nurses get notified. You know which blood tests have been ordered. You know what to use to collect the blood samples, and you do everything. Once you send the samples to the lab results are updated, also still in the same system, and you get to check immediately. And also the patient gets notified by their emails while they are at home sleeping in their rooms. They get emails about the test results that they have done. So the electronic medical record system is what is done here. It might be new. It's new to some of us who are from countries where we used to write a lot, use paper and pen, but gradually we get used to it, and it's really good. It helps to save a lot of stress. Whatever you do on the patient, you just document and everything. So that's why please don't shy away from computer skills, don't shy away from learning new things on chatting, on Word, on Excel, because it will help you a lot when you come over this way to work. This way or in any other country, because it's used in the Western world very widely. It's the electronic medical system that is in use in the Western world, paperwork is no longer in vogue. Okay, we also have multiculturalism. Here you get to deal with so many patients from different parts of the world. The Emiratis themselves, you get to deal with other Arabic country persons, you get to deal with Europeans, Americans, British, Swedish, different parts of the world. You know, Dubai in particular is a hub for travelers, so people come here all the time. So you get to deal with people, so many people with so many different personalities, with so many different temperaments for sure. And they don't like wasting time. They like when everything is done quick and fast. That our system back home, where you come to the hospital in the morning, you go back in the evening, not done here. Everything they like everything to be done quick and fast. Otherwise, next thing you see, complaints. Next thing you see, review. So I got used to these things with time. Everything has to be quick. Everything has to be done with a snap of the fingers. No one has time to waste. Everyone is in a hurry all the time. So you get to deal with different groups of people in these multicultural parts of the world. Back home, we get to deal with persons we are very familiar with. At least we know they are from this part of Cameroon, and we know how to deal with patients. They are used to the system. It's a bit slow and all the likes. They come to the hospital in the morning, they go back in the evening, which is kind of normal in some settings, but it's not very encouraged though. But that's what we see, that's what we observe, because when the patient comes, patient needs to see the doctor orders tests, the patient needs to go to the lab, does the test, wait until the results are out, then collect the results, go back to the doctor to discuss the results and all. Here, most often when you come, you do the test, you go home. Once you get the results, the doctor will call you. Once the results are available in the system, the doctor calls you and books a follow-up visit with you in order to be able to discuss the results with you. This also happens back in Cameroon, but the time spent is usually short because most people around here are always in a hurry. They want to go home quickly, they want to go to their next task very fast. Another thing I'll talk about is salary payment. There is a video on the salaries, salary ranges for nurses and registered and nurse assistants here in UAE. The salary difference is clear, like night and day. Salaries are paid high, salaries are more here and less back home. Moreover, the cost of living here also is very, very high compared to back home, so it balances up somehow. Another thing I would like to talk about is your colleagues and co-workers. Here you get to work with persons from different nationalities, different areas, different backgrounds. You get to learn how to understand them, and you get to learn how to understand their accents. You get to learn how to understand what they mean, what they represent, and everything. Back home it's pretty easy. You get to work with persons who are Cameroonians, and you generally know how you flow and how you relate with each other. So that's it for the situation, or I would say comparison, not comparison, but just a contrast of nursing in Cameroon and nursing in Dubai. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to add, or let me know if you have any other video requests that you would like us to make for you. So that's what happens in Dubai, in United Arab Emirates and Cameroon with respect to nursing practice. One thing I would like to say is, if you want to come over here to work, make sure you have your nursing experience back home, because don't joke with your experience back home. Like I mentioned, nurses are limited in practicing certain things here, but once you gather the experience from back home, you have those skills. No one can ever take it away from you, and it can help you tomorrow anywhere you don't know exactly. So if you have the chance to learn skills, the good thing with Cameroon is, even as nursing students, we were allowed to try veins and fail. We are allowed to intubate and fail. We are allowed to suture and fail. We are allowed to do so many things, and we learned through that. And after getting our diplomas or license or degrees, we are able to practice the nursing per se. We are allowed to work. I think it's very rich. That's actually the richest thing your country can give you, skills. And in Cameroon, you get that firsthand, because here you might not get those enormous opportunities. Back home in Cameroon, you get that firsthand. though we have limited equipment and everything back home, when you have the skills and you come here, even with the advanced equipment, you'll be able to learn with the snap of your fingers and you'll excel very quickly. So please don't joke with the skills that we acquire back home. Gather them, package them, so that when you come out here, you show that yes, you are from a country where you have worked and your hands are blessed with skills. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned to our next video. I wish you all the best in everything you do. Take care and God bless. Bye.